Welcome back to part 3 of this Feedback Masterclass from Mote. So if you've already watched part 1 and 2 of this Feedback Masterclass series, you're ready to explore part 3, which is creating impactful feedback. So to explore this, we're going to look at 3 key ways to really structure your feedback to make sure it has relevance and impact for your students. And then we'll look at a really simple strategy to use when thinking about creating feedback to make sure it's really targeted and going to have a positive impact on your student learning experience. So let's get right into it. Now I have 3 ideas here. We're going to dig into each one of these individually to make sure we can really focus your attention on creating impactful feedback. So idea number 1 is that the feedback we're providing focuses on performance of work as it relates to the learning goal. I know that it can be really tempting sometimes to provide feedback that's critical of the work that's being done by students, but not necessarily always connected to the purpose and the target and the learning goal. It's sometimes adjacent to what we're really getting at. And it's tempting to provide feedback about all aspects of student work instead of really targeting the feedback towards that one particular goal and leaving feedback for other components of their work when it's related to the goals and the outcomes of any other type of assignment. Another thing to think about when creating impactful feedback is to base it on the evidence of the learning demonstrated. So we can often get almost seduced in a way by prior experience, by our understanding of the student and their previous work, and we really just have to target our feedback on what was provided in this particular piece of work and how does that create meaningful evidence to connect the work the student did to the learning target. The third idea to think about is that the feedback can be impactful when it achieves changes so student understanding and performance meet the learning goal. So if we're creating feedback that cannot be understood by the student, that it's not really accessible to the student for whatever reason, it could be a challenge with the vocabulary that we're providing or the way that we're providing the feedback, and we'll get more into that later. But if the student cannot change the structure of their work, the condition of their work, or the outcome or the output that they're creating, then it will have little impact. So if we go back through all these 3 and kind of review them, we really focus our feedback on the learning goal, make sure our feedback is connecting the work that they've provided to the specific learning goal and not get distracted or tempted to provide feedback on anything else that's not strictly related to that goal. Make sure that it's based on the evidence that they've demonstrated in their work. And that really ties tightly into this third one, is that if we can do that, ideally, we can allow the student to create change in their work. And again, remove that gap between what they know and understand and how we want them to get close to the learning goal based on the work they've provided. Now, another way to think about this, which might be even a little more accessible, is to think of it in terms of keep, stop, and start. So when we're providing really impactful feedback, we can break it into one of these 3 categories and include all 3 of these in the feedback we're providing. So what should we keep doing and is working towards meeting the learning goal? So it's almost like we're providing a bit of confidence and we're pointing out the strength and the quality of the work. So we're telling the student, keep doing this action, keep working on this strategy, or keep developing this type of solution or this approach because it's helping you get towards that learning goal. What should they stop doing? So stop doing what is incorrect and not aligned with the learning goal. So that there's some corrective feedback. But when the corrective feedback is paired with that kind of complimentary comments about their work, then this will be something that they can consume and receive more effectively. And then the last point here is what should they start doing? What process should they start doing? Or what action is needed to move towards that learning goal? So we think about maybe this approach. Every time we craft feedback, what should the student keep doing that they've already exhibited? That's kind of being complimentary about their work. What should they stop doing? A bit of corrective. And then we're kind of reframing the feedback to say, now here's something that you can do, a new process, a new action, a new perspective that's going to allow you to keep doing what's working really well and add this layer in, and that will allow you to get even closer. So thanks for watching the 3rd part in this video series where we are exploring how to craft really quality, impactful feedback. When you are ready to advance to part 4 of the video, simply click the link that's provided right above. I'll see you in part 4 in our Feedback Masterclass series brought to you by Mote.